I bring all the roll below the level, cause I'm living low next to the base. Come on! Turn up the radio.
Back on the Young Turks. Claiming I'm a criminal. Well, it turns out, you know how I was telling you about me hosting at 3 p.m. on MSNBC? Well, I'm making news already. Conservative website Newsbusters out today with a story saying, MSNBC's Uyghur to Oklahoma voters. You're a bunch of idiots for passing anti-Sharia law. That's the story I was just telling you about. I love how they say that, like, aha, we got him. Yeah, that was a stupid law. I agree. And then the guy goes on to explain, the guy who wrote is Ken Shepard, and he explains my case, and I think he did an excellent job of proving how right I was. And he says on several occasions, he's like, well, I mean, Uyghur has a good point there. So I love it, man. I'm already getting there under their conservative skin. Look, now that I've told you a couple times about that, let me just quickly explain to you, for those of you that didn't see that MSNBC show. They passed a referendum saying that you cannot consider international or Islamic law if you're in the Oklahoma court system. But first of all, you can't tell judges what kind of law to consider or not consider. It's not allowed. And in fact, a federal judge immediately put a restraining order on the law and said it cannot go into effect. And second of all, you can't single out a single religion and say, oh, no, you can apply Jewish law or Christian law all you like, but you can't apply Islamic law. Third of all, what is there Sharia being applied? Sharia law, Islamic law being applied in Oklahoma? I mean, come on, man. These guys are getting all riled up based on fear and hatred that the conservative talk shows are feeding him. If they think I'm, insulting the voters of Oklahoma by saying that, so what? Have at it, boss. Yeah, you made a mistake. And you made that mistake because you're listening to the wrong guys. You're listening to people like Rush Limbaugh and Fox News Channel that are, baiting you with hatred. So don't do it. Cut it out. End of this. I'm the cop that stops it. Yeah, I've heard that somewhere before. And for those of you who say I should get the sound machine out here, just calm down, calm down. If it turns out that, we stay here for a while, don't worry. I'll get my beloved sound machine. All right. So now I told you that I was going to tell you about a little bit of fight between Mitch McConnell and the Tea Party folks. Jim DeMint and some of the other Tea Party candidates, so-called, that are coming in are saying, no, that's it. We want to ban all earmarks. Now, earlier, Mitch McConnell and other Republican leadership in the Senate, Lamar Alexander and Lindsey Graham, had voted with Jim DeMint, saying, oh, hell yeah, that's right, these some of them bitch Democrats. We're going to go ahead and ban these earmarks, see how they like them apples. But now that it turns out the Republicans have a lot more power in Congress with control of the House and a lot more Republican senators, all of a sudden, when it looks like it's real and DeMint might have enough votes within their own caucus to push for that, Mitch McConnell is in full backpedal. He said, no, wait, did I say ban earmarks? No, of course not banning earmarks. No. And he's actually pulling together every single Republican senator, sitting them down, and one by one asking them, please don't vote with Jim DeMint. We got to have the earmarks. Pork barrel spending, that's what we do. What are you talking about? That's the whole point of why we won. No, we're Republicans. We take money from the average American taxpayer and we give it to our rich friends. What do you mean against earmarks? What kind of crazy nuts are you guys? So he's lobbying them one by one, trying to make sure that they vote his way, not DeMint's way, in their secret balloting. So my guess is a lot of Republicans are like, oh, Jim, I'm so on with you, man. Pork barrel spending. That's totally unacceptable. I'm like, secret ballot? Oh, yeah, I want my pork, baby. Well, we'll see what happens because that vote's next Tuesday. It's very interesting. And I'm not saying I know which way it's going to go because DeMint has lined up a lot of senators on his side, including McCain, Coburn, Rand Paul, who's new. In fact, all the new Republican senators say they're on DeMint's side. By the way, all the Republican leadership. Now, Lamar Alexander bailing out, Lindsey Graham bailing out. Lindsey Graham saying, wow, I mean, come on, earmarks. I got to get the port of Charleston. I mean, come on, that's my state. Of course I want the pork for my state. I don't want it for other states. And when I voted, to ban the earmarks, I thought it wasn't going to pass. I thought I was going to get the pork anyway. He didn't say that last part, but it's incredibly clear from what he is saying. Kyle and John Cornyn claim to be non-committal or unclear. And Cornyn claims that he's going to go with DeMint. I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. So, but it is an interesting little fight. And if DeMint wins, you do have to give them some credit, you know? And so not all earmarks are poor. And it might be a bad idea to ban all earmarks because there's valuable projects in different states that have to get done. But it would be demeaning the Republicans sticking to their principles. So let's see if he can pull it off. You see, I'm open-minded. Am I not merciful? Am I not merciful? All right, now let's continue with the clips. I like this next one here. Oh, this is great. So the Obamas, of course, are in Indonesia, and they're going to do their standard greeting of foreign leaders. They're going to greet some of the top leadership in the Indonesian government. And obviously, when you greet people, what do? You shake hands. But unfortunately, this has caused a it's mini controversy for us in Indonesia. This is a huge controversy. Let's watch a little tape on it. This is funny stuff.
The First Lady joined President Obama today in Jakarta, where they were greeted by a receiving line of Indonesian diplomats. The Obamas came to Indonesia's information minister, a conservative Muslim. After shaking the president's hand, the First Lady sticks out her hand. After he shakes it, the minister told his tens of thousands of Twitter followers that it was an accident. His shake sparked outrage among his Twitter followers, calling into question his values as a conservative Muslim man and his need to restrict contact with women that are not related to him. The minister said that Mrs. Obama forced their hand contact. While Indonesia is home to the world's largest Muslim population, the vast majority practice a moderate form of the faith.
Oh, I love that. She forced herself on him. You saw the video. Did it seem like she forced it? She reached out her hand. She probably, didn't think twice about it because they're in that line. They're all shaking hands. Now, they considered it in general. I've already read up on this, of that when they go to Indonesia, these are some things that they got to look out for. But apparently all of that was cleared. She puts out her hand, and that guy's all over her. He's like, oh, yes, with both hands. He's like, oh, yes, Mrs. Obama, it's great for you. Oh, she forced it on me. I didn't want to touch her female skin, but I have to. By the way, the minister's name is, I thought it was Tinatul, which would have been awesome, but it's actually Tifatul Sembering. And he had a world of trouble, man. Now they're saying, what kind of pious Muslim would shake the hand of a woman? Hey, look, you know me, I'm against all religious fundamentalists. And I just don't get it, man. What's going to happen when you shake a woman's hand? Are you going to get cooties? Or is it going to be so hot that you're going to lose it in your pants? They're like, oh my God, it's a woman's skin. Just calm down, dude, man. Get a handle on yourself. Okay? Everybody's going to be all right. If you shake a woman's hand, that doesn't mean you're having sex with her. Believe me. You know who's not interested in that? Michelle Obama or Barack Obama. Hey, if they thought you were getting some sort of pervy thrill out of it, I'm sure they wouldn't have shook your hand in the first place. I'm sorry, should I be more respectful of other people's cultures? What am I going to do with folks, man? All right, that's the controversy in Indonesia. They need to find something better to do, man. On the other hand, I like that this guy is all modern. He's got all tens of thousands of Twitter followers. Can they touch Twitter while they type? Is that allowed? What if a female had touched the keyboard before you touched it? You didn't think about that, did you? Mm-hmm. Put some thoughts behind it. What am I going to do with folks? All right, I got to get to more clips. All right, I got to give you a full show here. We got to go. Now I'm going to, this is another great guy. Representative-elect Nunnally from Michigan. He's on Focal Point. That's a show that American Family Association does, so you know it's going to be good. As you watch this clip, of course, it's absurd what they're saying, but also notice the set. We'll come back and talk about that. Let's watch clip number 7.
Okay, Representative Nunnally, never, ever, ever is implemented. I mean, that's a commitment from the Speaker of the House. How far are you willing to go to make sure that this thing does not get implemented? Are you willing to participate in what would lead to a shutdown of the federal government to stop this monstrosity from going down the tracks?
I agree with Congressman Boehner. We need to do whatever's necessary to make sure this bill never goes into effect. It's the worst piece of legislation that has passed the Congress in over a century, and I think the American people overwhelmingly don't like it. They want it off the books, and we need to follow that leadership and make sure it's never implemented.
All right, 2 issues here. One, they're ready to shut down the government already. I mean, and they want to repeal all of health care reform. So here comes extremism. Second issue is Hey, what the hell are you guys doing ripping off the Young Turks set? And by the way, you're a little behind the times because we changed the set. But man, did they try to copy our set there. You know what I think they think? They look at us and they're like, damn, they got a lot of views on YouTube. Well, if you can't beat them, join them. Well, I hate to break it to you. It wasn't a set. It's what you say on air. And what you guys are saying is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. In fact, here's another example of it. Let's watch.
So let me ask you this: as a congressman, Congressman N, would you be willing? I think you just answered it with health care, but when it comes to fiscal policy, are you willing to participate in a shutdown of the federal government if that's the only way to get the president to come to the table?
Yeah, if the Republicans learned anything from the post-94 election, it's what we said earlier. The people of America do not want us to go to Washington and start acting like the Democrats we replaced. Maybe the people that had that strategy a decade ago were under the belief, okay, we come to the middle, the Republicans take 2 steps to the left, and the Democrats will stay there and we can reach some kind of agreement. But what actually happened, the Republicans took 2 steps to the left and started acting like Democrats. And when they did that, the Democrats took 3 steps to the left and started acting like socialists. And the American people said, no more. We want you to go and hold true to your conservative value.
On which planet did the Republicans take steps towards the Democrats? In what year? Maybe 1968? Maybe 1974? But in 2010? In the last 2 years, the Republicans took steps towards the Democratic direction, and the Democrats took steps towards a socialist direction? Man, look, these guys, look, seriously, I can't relate to them. I don't know what, we don't speak the same language. We don't live on the same planet. He thinks the Republicans are too soft, that they just keep giving in to the Democrats. How do you have a conversation with that guy? Even if he's trying to copy your set. Okay? And it's not his set. It's the American Family Association set. So, and look, I'll tell you, they're going to go shut down that government, man. And I'm not saying they're 100% going to do it, but they just keep threatening it, and maybe they're bluffing. But if they go ahead and shut it down, and by the way, the NBC News reports there's 40 new House members that were backed by the Tea Party. NPR says it's as many as 60 House members that were backed by the Tea Party that are new. These guys are massively extreme. You got this Nunnally character. You got Alan West in Florida, who just brought in as his chief of staff a conservative talk show host who thinks you should hang illegal immigrants that commit any crime and send them back in a box. You got these people coming in. You think they will shut down the government? They'll shut it down in a second. Obama still trying to reach out to these guys. It appears that he has no idea what's coming in his direction. Look, maybe Obama's trying to play nice this first week. I know I've talked a lot about it over the last couple of days because he did that 60 Minutes interview where he was so conciliatory and just kept talking about, oh, the Republicans, they're like apple pie. They're so good. Oh, my God. They want this limited government and cutting spending. It's brilliant. Of course, I'll go in that direction. Maybe he's just playing, right? But if he's not playing and he really thinks that, talking to these Republicans and working with them is the right strategy, he's in for a world of hurt. And for the first time, I'm beginning to think that he might not get elected in 2012. I'll tell you, all throughout I've thought that he probably would get reelected because his competition is so comical and ridiculous. But now I think maybe not. Maybe they're going to hand his ass to him, and he's still going to be going around in 2012. Please, pretty please, will you work with me? When are you going to get it? The answer is, hell no, they're not going to work with you. How clear do they have to be? All right, do I have time to squeeze in the last one with Ron Christie? It looks like not. All right, we'll save it for tomorrow's show. That's about Bush's book. That's a lot of fun. Let me give you two quick updates here then before we end tonight's show. One is Joe Manchin's people. You know how yesterday we told you an advisor to Manchin talked about how he might flip over to the Republican side? Well, Manchin's people say, no, that's ridiculous. I can't believe anybody would suggest that. These Washington games have begun already. Meanwhile, 2 other inside sources saying, yeah, of course it was Manchin's people. He might not actually switch, but he's threatening the Democrats to get more out of them. And plus, he's worried about a Republican running against him in 2012. And by the way, my bad, yesterday on the show, I said Manchin was running in 6 years from now. He's not. some of our listeners corrected us. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I always appreciate getting the correct information. We're not conservatives. And yeah, he's running in 2 years because, of course, he took Robert Byrd's seat, which is up in 2 years. All right, so that's Joe Manchin, whether you believe him or you don't. And then finally on Don't Ask, Don't Tell, we had told you about how the Democrats are ready to cave in on that Carl Levin, et cetera. Well, President Obama and his administration say that they will not give in on that, and they are not in favor of letting go of the repeal. We'll see if that's true. But it's a good sign for now. All right, 3 p.m. Eastern on MSNBC tomorrow. I'll see you there.
Back on the Young Turks, this is Anna Kasparian. Cenk is on Skype, and we're about to do an STD story. Researchers in the UK are actually developing technology so people, especially young people, can test their urine or saliva to see if they have a sexually transmitted disease. This sounds crazy. How does that happen? So what they're doing is they're creating a computer chip that's the size of a USB chip, and they either put urine or saliva on it, and then they put it in a special mobile phone that's designed for this kind of thing. And the mobile phone will tell them what their results are. So if they have gonorrhea, chlamydia, herpes, that kind of stuff, they'll find out.
All right, a couple of things here. First of all, since they're using saliva or urine, I know what people are going to do. They're going to be stupid, they're going to get drunk, and they're going to piss on their phone. And then they're like, what? I don't get it. When do I get the results, man? Second thing they're going to do is, look, you can test yourself, but you could also test other people without them knowing it. You just got to get a saliva sample. I hope you don't get a urine sample, but a saliva sample. And then all of a sudden, bloop, 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 you're, invading other people's privacy and finding out whether they have sexually transmitted diseases or not. So this has got trouble written all over it.
Oh, drama. I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about the second possibility. But you're absolutely right. It's easy to get someone's saliva.
Yeah, no question. And I'll tell you what, the technology's amazing, right? I mean, look, just in a couple of minutes, they let you know whether you have these diseases based on something you're plugging into your phone. That's crazy, dog. Crazy.
JR, you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe this is the third possibility. First thing that came to mind to me was, I wonder how effective it is, because we always know that if you get certain tests done with doctors or hospitals or whatever, it's going to be the most, it's going to be the best results, or at least the most accurate. So I wonder to the extent this will have for people and whether or not they'll just stop going to the doctor to get their own tests, because that could be a downside.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because that downside is already happening without these tests. Young people, first of all, let me give you a stat that will amaze you, all right? In the UK alone, in 2009 alone, nearly 500,000 people were diagnosed with an STD. 500,000 in 2009 alone. That's amazing, and it's also a record number. So what they wanted to do is create this technology so they can get tested themselves without having to go through the embarrassment of going to a doctor. Because one issue is, most of these people are young. Most of these people are too embarrassed to go to a doctor and get tested for this kind of stuff. So, this vicious cycle continues because they don't get tested, and then they go off and they spread these diseases to other people.
All right. First of all, Anna, that stat amazes me.
No, but that's a lot of people, Cenk. 500,000 in 2009 alone.
No, it is a lot. It is amazing. And the fact that 2/3 of girls under 25, or other people getting it are under 25, the girls are, it's 2/3, et cetera. That made me think, note to self, don't have sex with young British girls. Which I wasn't going to do anyway, so that's one of the upsides of marriage. Score one for the married guys. Okay, but anyway, one other note on this story. Listen, there's the invasion of privacy that maybe you could test other people, right? There's a second invasion of privacy possibility. They're saying, oh, since this is all happening, through your phone, et cetera, that it'll be more private. I'm like, no, because remember, the government does warrantless wiretapping, and they're recording everything. So, I mean, if your doctor tells you, that's likely to be private. But if you're doing it over, some sort of, system that is shared with the world, then the government can tap it.
Right. No, you're absolutely right about this. This, now that I think about it, it has a lot more negative consequences than positive ones. But I'm also wondering. I mean, I've never been tested for an STD. Like, I've never gone seeking it, right? But can a person go to a grocery store, pick up some sort of test that indicates whether or not they have an STD? I know that there are some tests for some diseases, but not all, right?
Yeah, the fact that you've never been tested is slightly disastrous, but we're going to ignore that for now. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
No, okay. I mean, I've gone to doctor checkups, okay, where that's part of the checkup, but I've never thought like, oh shit, I think I'm in a little bit of trouble. Let me go get tested. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be in trouble to get tested. When I was single, I'd get tested every year. And when I filled out the questionnaire, they're like, why are you here? You hardly ever get laid. But I like to be safe, just in case,
Right.
And then I'd spit and piss on my phone, just in case. And the technology hadn't even been invented. But you couldn't pick up a test as far as I know, at a grocery store or anything like that. But I don't. Some old Young Turks listeners will remember this story. Once I went and got STD checkups, made the mistake of going to my doctor to get them, as opposed to getting them at the free clinics and stuff. And my doctor charged me $900.
What?
I know. You better believe that was my reaction.
Oh hell no! Did you pay it? What happened?
Well, you know me. I mean, I went to war. I didn't pay for over a year, and I kept negotiating and haggling, and they busted my balls, man. And eventually, I wound up paying over $400.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's more shocking than the 500,000 people in the UK number.
Right. No, I had to pay it at the end because it was going to screw up my credit score, but because they were going to report me to the this and that. But I mean, I every chance I got, I hit him and I hit him again, and I got the number lower and lower because it's fucking criminal. $900 for regular, STD checkups.
Wow. All right, Cenk, that concludes the Anna Hour, but you have an hour of political news for our audience, right? I
do. Hold on, I just want to tell one other story here. Okay. Conan O'Brien debuted on TBS last night, and I'm obsessed with this Conan Leno stuff, right? Conan crushed Leno and Letterman. Now, mind you, it's his first night, so of course those numbers are going to be much, 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 much higher than they normally would be. But look at these numbers. He got 4.2 million, whereas Leno got 3.5 million, and The Late Show got 3.4 million. Okay, that's beating them. That's not that big a deal. But in the 18 to 49 demographic, Conan got 3.3 million. Leno only got 950,000.
Oh, wow.
So he more than tripled them, okay? And Letterman had 1.4 million in the demo, so he also just absolutely murdered both of them. In fact, he killed both of them combined in the 18 to 49 demo, meaning Conan is just totally bringing in the younger audience. TBS, I know it's the first night. Of course they're going to go down, like I said, but TBS has to be ecstatic over that, and so does Conan. And he's got to be thinking, hey, Jay, tell me how my ass tastes.
Right, but you know what? I was a little upset because since they gave Conan a show, they had to push Lopez Tonight back 1 hour. That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I'm kidding. No, but I'm surprised that Lopez didn't make a big deal about it at all. He was like, okay, sure, I'll do it at 12.
You want to know why, Anna?
Why?
Because now he just had 4.2 million people handed to him as a lead-in audience. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, inside baseball for TV.
I know how that shit works, man. I got it on lockdown.
All right, Cenk, we got to take a break. We'll be back in a little bit with some more political news for you guys.
Go.
I want you